the times of the Cold War, where the world was divided. Um, one side is the totalitarian regimes, and the communist parties, or big government, and the other side was the free world. The smaller government where individuals were sovereign.
Well, you're equating size to centralization
Regime.
of control. Because one thing is to say the government is big because it's in everybody's lives and does a lot of stuff, but the power and the influence is divided by each congressperson.
No, but
Other
and
thing is to
those
say
that
like,
I'm
oh, the Xi Jinping pulls all the shots regardless, and he tells
Yeah,
the party
yeah.
what to do, and then the party tells the world. It's the same size because the
Right.
government is in everything. The difference is the centralization, I guess.
I mean,
into
in
one
the sense
figure.
that the government making decisions that should belong to the individual. Like, let's say you can only have two kids, or that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You know, that shouldn't be the government's competence to come to me and tell me, okay, you can only have one kid, and your kid is gonna study to become a, let's say, I don't know, because your son, we see a proclivity or a tendency towards more, let's say, the engineering, you know,
Mhm.
because we see qualities in your kid that tend, that lean towards a more mathematical brain. So
Mhm.
he's gonna study only that, and he's gonna go to school, and he's gonna focus only that, and in the future he's gonna be an engineer. Government dictating people's choices. And I know that happened. I don't know if it happens anymore, but I know at some point that happened in China. Like,
Mhm.
certain kids were being groomed to, not groomed, sorry,
We're being guided.
guided. I
Being-
was thinking in Portuguese, sorry, because grooming in Portuguese means
Yeah.
also kind of like shaping and forming,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were being
and
trained and
exactly.
directed into.
So it takes away that freedom of choice, that freedom of, and that what I mean by big government, centralized power, where the government will be dictating certain choices that should belong to the individual. I should have the right to choose if I want my grass green or my grass blue.
Or red.
I should be able to make choices on how many kids I want to have, what kind of career I want to have, what I want to do with my life.
Right. Well, just to play a little bit of devil's advocate.
Very simplified way to say
Yeah,
what
I
I'm saying
understand.
right now, but I'm just putting something out there.
Well, the
For you
devil
to
advocate in me
Develop a little more.
will always say that is it really that bad if assuming, which is usually, and it's been proven historically not to be the case, but assuming that the government can take a wide, broad picture of its own path to success,
Hmm.
and it needs to place the pieces in order for that success to happen, that would be technically a good thing for everybody involved.
Hmm.
There's the argument that you can be making on, like, okay, what does the world need right now? Is it more liberal arts majors, or is it more engineers to build the next factories?
So you think if
I'm not thinking. I'm
Okay.
just explaining one point of
Right,
view.
right.
This is not my personal opinion, but this is the angle that when you tell me that, I can think like, oh, okay. So what
the
do
government can create incentives,
Yeah.
but it cannot force anybody.
Sure,
you know,
and in this case, the
take up
incentive
certain
is like, you don't have to do this, but you'll go to jail if you do. But it's your choice, that
Is this a
that
gun?
fake, the fake freedom, or like the quote unquote, it's
Yeah.
just like an incentive.
It's your choice.
It's your choice.
You know.
But if you think about, like a distribution of population, and you have to, usually in the perfect world, I guess, you would have an equal distribution of old people, working people, and kids, because you want the kids to replace the working class. The old people will eventually die off, and you'll have the new retirees. And so it's more of it's not really a pyramid. But what happens is societies get into troubles when you have too much of one. If you have too much
Right.
of babies, you don't have problems then, because you're going to have all these
I
people
think
who are
there
going
are
to
too
go
many
into
actors nowadays.
Exactly. You're going to have too many people going into the workforce, and that's a good thing for a while. But eventually, all these babies will become adults, and then they will become old people, and then they won't be able to work.
Right.
They won't be able to sustain their own, life. And so a lot of the times, social welfare programs, they live off of the people who come after, who are actually working, paying their taxes, so they can support the top of the pyramid, which would be the third age or old age, the retirement age. And once you have a very aged population where the base of the pyramid is actually narrower than the top of the pyramid, you're going to get into social problems and you get into financial problems. So if you can somehow avoid that, actively avoid that, because if people are going to have kids, they're going to have kids and they're going to have kids. It's their choice. Maybe every family has 5 kids. And every family is going to have 5 kids, and every family's you're going to have like this explosion in demographics, which is going to create other types of tensions in society, as far as, you know, housing. You're going to have all these people will need a place to live. They will need to consume energy. They will have food to eat. So if you can, in a way, control those things, you know, you can mitigate some of these effects. And that if you're like this mastermind, or if you're this dictator and you have this vision for this country, these decisions make sense in that it's the good of the country. Screw the individual, but it's the good for everybody. You know, that dichotomy. So that's kind of like the point of view that these strategies would work. In the other hand, you have freedom, and freedom without responsibility leads to chaos, right?
So so then I guess so
you can give the freedom.
We go into the realm of values, right? And, you know, teaching the new generations that sort of responsibility, right?
And what's the difference?
Well, I don't know.
If the outcome is the same, let's say if like you teach everybody a set of values and how is it important to become an engineer in society and how you should not have more than 2 kids, and the outcome becomes nobody has more than 2 kids and everybody's
So freedom
an
is
engineer.
irrelevant? Is that what you're saying?
Freedom is an illusion. If you're saying like freedom,
well, not really.
Freedom should be freedom with values, but the values, freedom with values equals the same outcome as not freedom with somebody telling you forcing you to do something.
But I don't think that teaching values is equal indoctrination or manipulation. You know, like I don't know. I think it's we go into the matter of, is there a better set of values than others?
Sure.
And
but what's the difference between that and
teach
indoctrination?
those set of values, is that going to generate a better outcome for society in general?
What are those better outcomes
I don't
compared
know.
to?
But I guess where does everything that you just said relate to what I was saying about big government and kind of like controlling certain freedoms or certain choices? So now, are we discussing what type of governmental regime or action, administration would lead to a better societal outcome?
Yeah, in a way, I think
Is
so.
Is it a totalitarian way where the government will dictate everything that a citizen, an individual should do with their lives? Is that going to generate a better outcome for the whole, or is it giving that freedom to people so they can choose freely what they're going to do with their lives, what path they're going to take, what area of expertise they're going to you know, deepen into, what kind of job, what kind of value they're going to bring to society in general, you know? Or do you think we can find a sort of like a mid-ground there where there need to be checks and balances by the government? That's why the government is there, so people don't take that freedom to an extreme and start, you know, like you told me one time, our freedom ends when the other individual's freedom starts, you know? So
Thanks, Ma. One of my Ma's mottos.
Mom. So do you feel that there is an imbalance right now in that sense? Like maybe people are misguided by a false idea of freedom?
Hello everybody, and thank you for watching until the end. This has been Woke Wars, and I hope you liked our conversation. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about next. Also, check out some of our other episodes. We post every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will see you on the next one.